Hi, I'm Dagmar, and I'm going to read the first chapter of my novel, Amber's Choice, for you. What a good day to die, Amber thought, with a touch of melodrama, well aware of the risk she was taking as she raced at high speed along the winding coastal highway. As always, when she took on risky endeavors, she didn't worry about whether or not it would kill her. Today the danger didn't interest her anyway, because she couldn't get Daniel Anderson out of her mind. She hadn't expected to see him again, after they'd gone their separate ways 6 years ago. And she was finished with him. At least, she had thought so, until, out of the blue, 2 hours earlier, she found him standing in her father's office. She stepped on the gas of her Porsche convertible. Her gloomy mood hindered her from enjoying the beautiful day. She hardly noticed the sunlight that glittered on the deep blue waves of the ocean. The road in front of her wound snake-like up a rise. She shifted in a lower gear. Her car raced over the top of the hill, and she took the next curve at breathtaking speed, taking in the narrow fraction of the landscape that was visible through the cut of the road. In front of her, the ocean was bathed in sparkling sunlight. She took a deep breath. Daniel's insinuations had unsettled her. Her intuition told her that he wasn't making false accusations. She knew him. Jackson, Hoover and Partners, her father's law firm, seemed to be in some kind of trouble, and the fact that it was Daniel, of all people, who would start the ball rolling didn't make it any easier. This guy was still able to get at her. The longer she thought about things, the more conflicted she felt. She drove her car through the curves at an even greater breakneck speed. Life sometimes goes in mysterious ways, she thought. She wouldn't have discovered anything at all about Daniel's confrontation with her fiancé Louis if things had gone their usual way. It was only a coincidence that she had been in the reception area at the time. She had wanted to leave a message for her father for the evening when she heard voices in his office. One of them belonged to Louis, the other, to her surprise, to Daniel Anderson. She had immediately recognized his intonation, and his voice threw her off balance, just like that, like it always had. That was bad enough, but when he mentioned the name Carlos Mendoza, she sensed that something was wrong, so she listened even more intently to what they were saying, although she couldn't say which part alarmed her. Probably her unease was due to the fact that Louis overreacted. He had never liked Daniel yet. Their old rivalry couldn't explain why Louis had become so unwisely vehement. He must have known that his behavior would only strengthen Daniel's resolve to follow his suspicions. Given this, it looked like something was terribly amiss. She stepped on the gas vigorously while she took a brief look in the rearview mirror. All she could see was a huge dust cloud. A smile twitched across her features at the thought that Daniel's suspicions would stir up as much dirt in the press. This was the kind of story the media loved. William Jackson, chair of the National Anti-Drugs Campaign, a highly paid advisor to the Senate in the Commission for the War Against Drug-Related Crime, tangled up in illegal money laundering schemes of a drug boss. How absurd! But was there a better story? There was a lot of trouble on its way, because Daniel Anderson had got it in his stubborn head to stick his nose in things that were supposed to be top secret. A few feet behind the next curve, a private road branched off the highway. Amber registered the delivery van turning onto the street only after it blocked her path. Out of reflex, she tried to avoid the obstacle as a wave of adrenaline flooded her veins. But it was too late. Her tires locked, and her car shot like an arrow into the abyss. So this is how our story is going to end, she thought, when her convertible broke through the road barriers with an enormous bang. Strangely enough, she wasn't scared. Instead, she felt an extraordinary sense of clarity and an uncanny feeling of freedom as her car floated through the shimmering infinity before the front of her Porsche began to sink in slow motion. She plummeted to the depths of the abyss at insane speed, certain that her fate was now fulfilled, because she never had been sure that her life was at all worth living. Seconds later, a gigantic eruption of light ended her conscious state, when her car crashed on the beach with a thunderous explosion. So that was chapter 1, and if you would like to hear more about Amber and Daniel and the story and what is going on at Jackson, Hoover and Partners, then there will be more for you. Thank you and bye.